The business process management is a discipline in which people use various methods to discover, model, analyze, measure, improve and optimize the marketing of it, setting up a good pricing, making it available for hundreds of people across the globe, making it even more effective can be made with the help of this particular management. KPO is probably the most important factor, the most important tool that we need to focus from a business angle. Good morning and welcome to this session of Unit 5, where we are going to speak in business environment about a very interesting topic called as the business process management and the knowledge process management. This is both a very, very interesting topic to be known about today. Why? Because the BPOs and KPOs coming up in India, we are going to a different league in terms of business management. Let's move forward and try to understand what is this all about. Now, starting here, the business process management is a discipline in which people use various methods to discover, model, analyze, measure, improve and optimize, automate a business process. Just look at the number of steps that we are talking about. Discovering it, modeling it, analyzing it, measuring it, improving it, optimizing it, and automating the process. So which means somewhere down the lane, you are trying to understand the process better. Now, let's say that a vertical like marketing or finance or HR, any vertical to be taken, there is a lot of concepts that needs to be understood unless and until you go in depth into it. So now what is going to happen here is that the business process of how to acquire a customer, how to retain a customer, how to convince a customer, everything starts understanding here only. So the business process management is a step-by-step understanding of how the process can be enunciated, how the process can go further, and try to understand how it can automate the business and bring an effective solution altogether. Now, any combination of methods used to manage a company's business process is BPM. So we are talking about automation as a very big tool, as a very big equipment, as a method of bringing the business to a better level altogether. Now, for example, whenever you look into Amazon, whenever you look into Flipkart, or when you look into companies like Nike or Adidas, these are all companies who have automated their entire process of understanding the customer better. What they want to do is that they don't want to do just sales. They don't want to come back and tell people that products are available, you can visit our website, but they want to understand the buying pattern of the customer. So that is where business process management comes into picture. Processes can be structured, repeatable or unstructured and variable. Though not required, enabling of technologies is often used with the BPM. So what we are going to do here, we are going to combine technology with management and try to understand how we can take it forward, how we can build a better system altogether. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the business process management in depth. It can be differentiated from program management in that program management is concerned only with managing a group or an interdependent project. But here, the process management includes program and it will also include the outcome factor. So what we are trying to talk about in business process management is that we are talking about how to lower the cost, how to reduce the risk, the product safety, the improved predictability, superior quality, enhanced process dependency. Now you can see the consistency coming up from greater brand protection and simplified solutions. So what we are trying to look here is that try to manage the business in the best possible manner altogether. Now, if you want sales to happen, and that sales has to happen on a recurring process, on a regular method altogether, that means we are going to work hard in terms of understanding the business, in terms of creating a proactive solution where you can get the customers towards you. Very simple. If I have to give you an example here. Now, let's say that sitting at your home, you have started a business like handicrafts. Now, how can you reach those millions of customers located across India or the globe? You need a platform which is able to market your products and also generate revenue to you on a regular basis. Now, that is what Amazon understood, and they created a business process platform altogether where they are inviting all the people who are interested to sell their products through the Amazon platform. Now, what does Amazon do? It connects to millions and thousands of people across India by putting the images, by putting the price factor, by connecting with the logistics and getting it home delivered as per the needs. So in both ways, what you are able to understand is that Amazon is trying to connect the buyer with the seller. So that is where the business process gets completely integrated. Earlier, what used to happen is that if I have to run my business, I need to find my customer, I need to first set my product, I need to do pricing, I need to do a lot of factors before I go and convince my customer altogether. But today, I only have to concern about my product and product quality, the marketing of it, setting up a good pricing, making it available for hundreds of people across the globe, making it even more effective, can be made with the help of this particular management. So this is where you can make the business reach hundreds and thousands of people. This is definitely one of the best process that you can ever think about altogether. Followed by, if we are going to talk about the process of life cycle, now that is also very, very important when we are talking about the network of distributors to market their product altogether. Now, when you see here, manufacturers use this vast network to connect to the distributors and reach to more customers, as I was giving you the example of Amazon here. Now, what is happening here is that the cost of acquiring a customer is very high in any business. You cannot just acquire a customer by showing discounts or by showing moderated price altogether. If you want to acquire a customer, you need to show him such a kind of product and quality and sustainability that he gets completely attracted and retains with you. So what happens here is that the concept of making the customer get on to the decision factor, creating the awareness factor, and making him stick to the loyalty, all these things are an interconnected process. So it counts how your website, how your product is able to reach to the hands of the customer, how the customer is evaluating the entire scheme. Does he feel comfortable in doing this business? Is he really understanding the nature, the process of the business? What are all the plus and minus that is involved? Every single factor will be counted in the life cycle, because the same customer is again going to come back to you in different forms and format. And it is the job of the company to retain the customer as far as possible. One side, when you are talking about gaining of customer, now let me put that word here very clearly. When you want to gain a customer, the other side, the question comes about retaining. So this is where you need to understand the concept. One side when you gain, the other side you need to talk about retaining. So gain and sustainability. You have to win customers and you have to retain customers. So that's where this is going to be the most interesting process. Followed by the life cycle of business process management, which will also involve design, modeling, and execution altogether. You have to design a process. Now, designing a process is not that easy. Why? Because when you design a process, you are going to understand what is going to flow from one end to another end. Now, let's say that I'm going to sell a pen to a consumer. Now, if I'm going to sell a consumer a particular pen, a particular variety of pen, that pen should be in such a format that it should be readily accessible and it should add value to the customer. I cannot just sell a pen by saying that this is a gel pen available for 10 rupees. Nobody is going to bother me on that. What is a design trying to tell you is that the flow, how you are going to take the pen and market it towards the consumer. If you are able to understand that flow, if you are able to understand that factor, the notification altogether, then automatically you will be in the success zone. You know what is happening. You know how things are spinning for you. So this is why I would always say that this is the biggest opportunity. This is the biggest way of enticing your business towards the customer. So the service level agreement, what levels you are going to service, how you are going to attract the customer, what is the process flow, every single process is enunciated with that. Now, followed by the modeling exercise. What is modeling here? Modeling means it takes a theoretical design and introduces the combination of variables that changes in terms of rent or material cost factors, which determines the process, and it might penetrate under different circumstances. So this is where we are going to understand the different circumstances altogether. So modeling is primarily putting a pilot process in place, trying to understand it and trying to grow with it. So this is a combination, a very, very deadly combination that tries to understand how we can take the design forward and how we can rebuild the entire system. So this is international is really an interesting factor through which we are going to understand the business. Followed by, we are going to talk about something called as execution. Now, execution is not an easy thing. Why it is not an easy thing? Because business process execution, it's all about executing the model, trying to understand the modeling altogether. It is not something where you are just going to take the process and just leave it there. But it is a system where you are going to understand the combination of various factors put together. So you are going to go into different lines, into different parameters, and then start combining and working it together. So that is what is our business process execution all about. You need to execute this process based on the model, based on the design. You need to create the parameters so well so that you are able to understand the flow, where it is going, how it is heading, where we are exactly trying to bring in the process. So all those things comes into the execution. Moving forward, when we talk about monitoring, optimization, and re-engineering, we are going still deeper. Why? Because monitoring will encompass tracking of individual and information. If you look into your own GPRS, whenever you order food through Zomato and Swiggy, you will see that you are able to track your food parcel on a live basis, which means to say that there is a monitoring process. You are able to see where your packet is arriving on time, on destination altogether. Now, that is exactly what we are trying to talk about, the monitoring process altogether. Monitoring is a very, very exciting process, which I would like to say. Why? Because this gives you the lifetime updates of how your performance is going on, how your product is launching and moving forward. So optimization, once you have understood that the process is going on well, you now try to optimize on it. Try to check on the places where there are heavy bottlenecks, where you can improve the process, where you can build the process altogether, and through which you will be able to see the movement of the product altogether. Now, then comes the re-engineering altogether. When the process becomes too complex or inefficient. Now, the process, once it becomes complex, inefficient in nature, you need to come back and remodel it altogether. That process is what we call it as the business process re-engineering. What we try to do is that we try to find out the efficiency and the productivity. How can we increase the efficiency? How can we increase the productivity? All that comes into your re-engineering. Followed by, let's now move on to the most interesting factor that is happening in the world, and that is called as the knowledge process outsourcing, the KPO. The word itself is so interesting. Why? Because can knowledge ever be outsourced? Is it so, complicated enough to understand? Because knowledge is found everywhere. Now, when you search out of your internet, when you go to Google and when you type your query, you have the answer there. Then what is the big point for me? Again, outsourcing the knowledge. Knowledge is found floating everywhere. But then when we start accessing this entire KPO, we try to understand this very important word, information related business activity. The most important thing for a business today is not just about your product or customer or about your quality, but it is about the data. If you have the right kind of data and you know the right kind of pitch, then automatically your business can get into a success mode in a very short time. So that's exactly what KPO will try to do. It will involve contracting out works to individuals that typically have advanced degrees and expertise in that specialized area. So what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to understand the process of people who are having those advanced features, who have that speciality, the expertise of understanding the business. Let them take over that specific process, provide in the niche details that is needed for the business, and automatically you will see that with the team of experts that you have got, you will be able to reach the success at a faster rate. Now, the next important thing, how does the knowledge process outsourcing comes into it? It is a purposeful allocation of relatively high-level tasks. Now, when I use that word purposefully, because this kind of task is not just simply data entry, or this is not something related to your Excel sheet. This involves something called as data analytics, business intelligence, or what we call it as the data, the artificial intelligence, the cloud computing, and all those factors, the big data altogether, where it involves a lot of thought process of combining specialized knowledge or the problem solving to an outside organization. So you start learning it on a third party has got a high level of subject matter expertise, often located in different geographic regions of that company itself. So you want to understand how these things work, how those factors work, and how those kind of things get into the, the complex understanding of business movement, the various people, the nature, the climate, the geographical factors, the demographical factors. So a whole lot of things get combined together in this process, and they build the entire knowledge process. So the big data, the data analyst is such a big important factor that makes you understand the growth itself. So that is why I would say that KPO is probably the most important factor, the most important tool that we need to focus from a business angle altogether, because more the knowledge combination that you are able to get and you are able to work it out, automatically you will be able to spell success at a faster rate, because the data is the key to success. With this, we come to the types of the KPO services. Now you would see financial services are there, research and development services are there. You can also see business, technical, investment, legal, medical, and data analysis. So in every single sphere of the services business, data is getting into a very big role, even from R&D, from consulting, from any kind of roles that we are talking about. KPO is becoming one of the most spelt success in this world. KPO is actually trying to transform business with a lot of meaningful, lot of value added components, so that you will be able to go further and make the business even more successful, even more viable for all the people in this world. Now, the other reasons for why we want to know in terms of knowledge process outsourcing is that they look for the specialized skill is actually will help you to reduce the cost by hiring skilled workers rather than hiring all kind of workers and paying them lower wages. Now, let me tell you this. For example, hiring 10 normal engineers, instead of this, if you hire one data scientist, you will be able to cover up the job of this 10 people. Now, probably you might be paying him more money, but then let's look at the other fact. Instead of having 10 people and paying them the money, if you're going to pay for one data scientist who can get the job done at a reduced cost with a greater efficiency altogether, then KPO is the answer for your business. With this, I come to the conclusion of this session. I hope and believe that this session was highly informative, knowledgeable, and of a great resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we are going to speak about the different kinds of business processes that are emerging in the business environment today. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.